time today to review right answers and the smart service allow you to integrate with NetSuite and that enable us to find knowledge quickly. Look at the architecture. The architecture really starting at the base here, talking about knowledge. Not only canned knowledge, but we also have, you'll probably have your proprietary knowledge here on the right-hand side, similar to this, what we call pre-canned knowledge packs that come as part of Right Answer's Smart Service, but you can also purchase the knowledge packs separately. That's the next level of what we call knowledge management, which enables workflow, both editing, and keeping your knowledge fresh. As a user community in self-service, enabling us to connect up with communities, let them collaborate, and on occasion maybe solve their own issues. That there which talks about knowledge automation, pulling in information either from crawled websites or unstructured content. And then on the left-hand side, Intelligent Knowledge Builder, which is a tool noting that it helps us find gaps in knowledge where it's just not strong enough and doesn't help its end users or agents. And so we want to improve upon that. And so we're always looking for ways to improve. And the search. Start out here with the search of a self-service user, an end user needing to get help using the search, and then go from the perspective from there, how to find knowledge, but as a support agent. Go ahead and get started. I'll log in. And a couple of things that I want to remind you. When I did log in, I'm using the sign-on capabilities connecting up to NetSuite. So whatever my profile information is in NetSuite, as soon as I log in here to self-service and right answers, I'm able to have the same permissions. Notice that I do have one icon here, but this is literally right out of the box, brand new installation, very clean screen. And it helped me as an end user, but remember, I'm an end user now. I have my end user hat on, and as part of that, I have the ability to find knowledge, and I'm going to do just that. Matter of fact, I'm going to start here looking for how to fax my invoice from my Lexmark printer. So I'm just going to type in how to fax invoice from Lexmark printer. I'm going to hit search, and really that's using the natural language search, which has all the capabilities of boosting the search, synonyms for the search, and being able to, of course, not just search these bolded items here that are listed, which are keywords, but also search the whole article content, including if you have an attachment. On the right-hand side, we have a relevancy based on that search. On the left-hand side, we have the icon that represents, the company information that may be, or custom knowledge, or an icon that represents that this is a PDF file. Did you mean having the ability to help with grammar? I only ended up with 11 results, but if this was 111 results, then also could end up here with a search assistant enabling me to get help for the search I'm doing. And then lastly, notice that I'm talking about faxing, but on the right-hand side under Did You Know, it brought some quick reference guides, and that's because you can link solutions together when you're trying to find information. And maybe this is the first step, and over here under Did You Know, this is the second step. Now, this solution, notice the solution details. I have a title for the solution. I have the details for the solution. And as I scroll down, I can take a look at all the details of the solution. I can even open up the full version PDF by clicking on this item here. And we build that as part of this solution. Really, the actions. When you open a solution, you may want to do something or take some actions. Anything I list under here I want you to know you'll have the ability to turn on or turn off. For instance, if I click on this G+1, I'm sending this solution to every one of my friends in Google+. Now, I don't know why I would do that, or I don't know if they need that information, but again, I can use social media as part of my capabilities for assisting this end user with the actions that they would take. Maybe they would just, print this solution or email this to a colleague. But the real key here, and we're going to talk about this a couple of times, called knowledge-centered support, a methodology that Right Answers is really, has focused on because it really is helpful to improve content. And here's one way we can improve it. We can submit a comment that goes right to the author. Not only does it go to the author, if we want, could see those comments as well. But notice one thing, when I put a comment in here based on this, an email goes to the author to come take a look at that comment to try to improve this solution. Or if I like the solution, I can add it to my favorites on my homepage. I can even open up an incident or a case. And of course, because we're integrating to NetSuite, I'm opening that case in NetSuite. And so we're going to do that here in just a second. We won't do it from here. But it's important to know that when I open a solution, I can get immediate help. Or being able to stay connected, which is did this help? We talked about that real briefly, as well as being able to subscribe. Just as a reminder, when we select did this help, we're really talking about the feedback on this particular article here. If it's helpful, we're going to select yes. And if it's not helpful, we're going to select no. And this is where we've spoken about it before. We're going to show you places where when people say this was not helpful, where we can work on those what we call gaps of knowledge articles that need to be improved. And so I'm going to say yes here today, but again, if I said no, we're going to show up in that gap report, which we'll talk about later. Being able to subscribe. I mean, the great thing about this solution is it'll change over time. The products change over time. So I can put my email address in here, and should this article change, whenever this article changes, I'm going to get a notification to come take a look at the latest copy of this article. Really keeping me up to date with what's going on. I'm going to go to the home page and the tools that I want to share with you. First of all, you saw me being able to search using the natural language search process, but forums, being able to also create forums that become very helpful to your end users. I know it may sound crazy. They may solve their own issues as well, but very important to be able to have a place where they can come in here, talk about things that are important to them, post comments, or collaborate with other end users, and as I said before, potentially solve their own issues. Or using a solution as a checkpoint process. I call this a please continue solution. Once it saves in this location, all that needs to happen is once I open this solution, the steps of what to follow. And so here's my solution, here's the cause to the problem, here's the symptoms, and now I can simply say, hey, I got to free up my hard drive space to really solve this low application performance. And I'm going to put a check mark in here. And deal. Once I put a check mark in here, I'm freeing up my hard drive space. My hard drive's going to reboot. So of course, it's going to close this solution, and once we're done rebooting, I'm going to open it back up, and this is the benefit. Look, it saved the check mark in the exact location, so I can come back in here and pick right back up where I left off. No actions over here, which you can use or not use. You can turn on which ones you want. Again, being able to save a checkpoint really makes it so I can use a standard operating procedure or real steps to ensure that a checklist I haven't forgotten a beat. Or a solution as a service request. In this case, I'm requesting software. Maybe, for instance, I want the latest Windows version, which is coming out here. And matter of fact, I want the latest Office with it. And then, of course, I have some permissions that are needed to get this. And then I'm just going to click on the Submit button. And now it's being routed to the area that's going to handle that software software request. Now, by the way, that could not just be a software request. Think of it from this standpoint. That could be a payroll request. That could be a human resources request. That could be a parking request for the facilities team. So any type of area where a form could be of assistance. Now, some other tools down here like, our common favorites, and I may even have my own favorites, or lists that, take us out of the system. I may have to log in to check my medical benefits or other details, or even frequently asked questions, and these typically are known for being solutions that many customers. We've seen these solutions and the frequently asked questions help users solve issues. So, of course, we specifically put these ones in here to help out everybody else. On right here, I have the ability to push some announcements. I can either use text, I can use some HTML code to make it stand out. In this example, I put a video in here, but I really want to make sure you know, hey, I can put any announcement in here that I want. Matter of fact, I can have two different self-service groups. This is self-service for NetSuite, but I could have self-service for customers, and I could have self-service for employees. And based on the self-service, my message will change. If it's for employees, I may say, hey, on Friday, we're going to shut down the email server early. Make sure to save your stuff. If it's for customers, I may ask them to take a look at our latest products. Way to put some panels in here, making it easy for an end user to get to where they're looking for. If it's a form, they could just put it right here in this panel, or if it's a video, you can click on it, or just to contact us. You can have multiple panels, and that way you can scroll across the screen. There could be an arrow here if you want. But again, just using tools to make it easier for users to get to knowledge. Event that you need some help, the first thing we try to share is being able to use the pull-down menu. A lot of times you may not know the question. In that case, you can simply use the pull-down menu, select the item that you want, and notice that the screen takes you to the next level. Okay, perfect. Top applications. Okay, what title? What? We're talking about Office 365. Okay, well, perfect. Well, what are we talking about? Well, we want to know about contacts. Okay, great. Now we've got just the only item related to that area, and I even have the breadcrumbs to go backwards from where it came from. And notice one more thing. Searching on knowledge, it also brought up my recent searches, just in case if I'm trying to go back to where it came from. So again, the system for an end user becomes a little bit intelligent for the end user. Now, some assistance, that's when you come to this support desk, where you simply say, hey, I need to get some assistance. I'm working on, adding that fax as part of the invoice. So I'm wanting to use a smart printer to fax invoices, and I'm not finding that solution. I'm simply going to click on the Add New here, and I'm going to say, how to fax invoice from Lexmark printer. And I know that this is possible, and it has to do with some settings, but I need to know what those things are. I can even drag and drop a few files, or I can click on Select to select files. But once I do that, I'm just going to simply click on Submit. It doesn't just automatically create an incident for me. The first thing it does is it goes through the whole system and says, hey, I found quite a few possibilities. Would you like to take a look at them? These are all hypertext links. Look at them. And I can click into any one of them to solve my issue, should they solve my issue. I can even say, yes, cancel this request, because look, I found quite a few solutions here that are helpful. Or I can say, no thanks, I don't see anything that's helpful. Please continue with this. And as soon as it does, it's going to go into the NetSuite system and then create a a case number, which is 357 for us today. Remember that number. And now an agent will be able to pick this case up and help me out. Self-applied knowledge is available 24/7, 365. But enabling users to get to it very easily. And let's take a look at NetSuite, but from the perspective of an agent. As a matter of fact, as an agent, I'm wearing my agent hat on now. And as part of that, I just heard there's a couple of new incidents in the system, and I'm going to go, find them. I'm in my NetSuite system. It's a live system, and it's where I'm working as an agent on a case. And really what I want you to see is how I can use the information from the case to automatically start the right answer search. And then after reviewing the solution, how I can quickly link that solution to the actual case itself. And notice there's 356, but I don't see the 357. I'm just going to refresh my screen here. There it is. How to fax from an invoice from a Lexmark printer. And you know what? As I look at it, I actually see two of them, one that was started earlier. So I'm going to take this one first because, of course, if I solve this one, I'm able to solve the next one as well. And notice that when the case is opened, I have the ability, as I scroll down here, now to see knowledge that's automatically listed there. You didn't see it, but it did start searching as soon as I opened up the case. And that's because I'm linked to the subject field. Notice the subject field has the exact information that the search has. So we're using the subject field as a link to start that search automatically. Now you can link to any field, but we're linked to the subject field. And the great part about that is, not just because I opened up a case that was brand new, and it was created from self-service, but think of it from the perspective of if I created a brand new case. I would about my new case, I'd go to the subject field, I'd hit the tab button, I'd come down to these fields, but by the time I got to other fields, as soon as I left this field that we're linked to and hit the tab button to fill out the rest of these details, I would actually have received results listed here, and that's that automatic search because it's linked to that subject field. In this example, as soon as I see this case, I see this case all the time. Matter of fact, I'm simply going to click on link this case. And what's going to happen when I link this case is it's going to link this solution to the actual case itself. Hey, let's go take a look at it. I'm going to go to interactions, and I'll scroll down to messages. There it is. It even put in a URL for that link, as well as how to fax that article. And of course, I'm in NetSuite, so I can even email a response automatically or use a template that I'm familiar with using to get a message out as soon as I have that solution to the end user. Remembering this incident, this case itself came from self-service. So I'm using some automation here in NetSuite to respond to them quickly because I knew the answer to this as soon as I saw it. For example, I didn't know what this is. Now that may be a little bit more realistic, okay? So in that event, I will open the solution, and there it is. I'm going to open it, and I'm going to scroll down, take a look at it. And here's the solution. You guys had seen it before based on this, how to fax and Lexmark printer. I've got the details. I've got the ability to click on solution right here. And just like in self-service, I have these actions here. And I just want to remind you that, should you use the actions, or if you don't use the actions, they're all based on permission, so you can turn them off if you want. But again, enabling us to communicate to social media, email the solution, send a note to the author, or if I have permissions, I can even edit this solution or add it to our knowledge base. And again, that's going to be based on if you have permissions, or if you're a subject matter expert, or tools of that nature. But again, the real benefit here, as an agent, I'm to select, did this help? And why that's important as an agent, more so than as an end user, is because I select yes here, that also initiates the linking, allowing me to have the exact history and steps taken for that solution. So the goal is that whether I know the solution and I link it, open the solution and I link it, I'm in continuity with the solution used to solve this issue. Now, some found this solution fairly quickly. We did that automated search base and include cases. Also searched on, remember those forums and self-service? I also searched on that. Of course, no results here. Nobody was talking about the fax invoices, but if they were, I would have them listed here. I also searched on federated information. Look, some Cisco information that shared some possible solutions. And when I call federated information this tab, I'm talking about documents or external databases or file shares or maybe even crawled websites or, of course, unstructured documents as well, like PDFs or PowerPoints. And then I have linked to SharePoint or to wikis, but again, as part of that one search, I was searching on the knowledge base and cases, forum information, federated information, and SharePoint. And so the goal is that, hey, maybe I'm not just an agent that's working on customers. Maybe I'm also helping other agents. That's when I'm going to go to this tool we call a full portal. Now, this is our inline integration that you've been looking at, which looks consistent across multiple integrations that we have. But again, I have the ability to do something called full portal. If I'm really doing research, I want to go there because it just gives me more space. I'm going to see the exact same things, but I get more space. Here we go. I'm going to click on full portal, and notice I still have the same tabs. Nothing has changed. Matter of fact, I have a couple of bits of information from the case itself. Look, the case ID, the customer ID. I have not lost any continuity. Matter of fact, we know that this incident came from self-service, and I do want to remind you that all cases, it's not just an answer that may need help in solving. It may be understanding how the end user did its searching, how they did their searching. And I can go to session tracks and open up this session report and say, well, you know what? When you were searching on that, I noticed you were typing the search incorrectly. It really becomes a benefit because as a subject matter expert, I'm not just helping solve an issue, I'm helping educate a user how best to improve their search. And that may be the answer itself. However, it's not for our example today. Today, we found information about this fax not working on the Cisco website. Why they're working with Lexmark, I don't know, but I'm still going to go there and use this to help me solve this issue. I'm going to click on the solution I found off of the web. At the very top. That's all right answers. And then, of course, everything below is from the web page that we crawled. I can either take the whole web page or just the bits that are important to me, come back to the blue banner, promote it to knowledge base, and now what you notice, look, it automatically created a solution. The title for me. It also provided the external link to where the information resides, just in case if, I got to go and do some research. And then I'm going to click on Edit. I'm going to paste the information in that I had selected. But caveat, now you saw me as a Tier 3 agent, brand new content, brand new knowledge. However, an agent, I only have the ability to review. And once I select review and save, now email goes out to a technical or a subject matter expert or a reviewer for them to validate what I put forward here. They're going to come over and select review and then saved. And now an email goes to a knowledge manager who's going to log in. They're going to validate that, yes, the technical folks signed off on this, but they're also then going to validate the structure meets the needs of the audience. And then once they're done, once that knowledge manager is done and has checked everything and it looks like it will be very helpful, then the knowledge manager will have the permission to be able to publish this content. And then immediately upon doing so, it becomes available. So, to reiterate, we start here with inline integration. We went to the full portal. I didn't have to go to the full portal. I could still do everything you saw in the full portal right here and create a brand new piece of content. But I'm out there just to get a little bit more space. And when I did, I was able to link the solution to the case itself, keeping continuity with how we solve this issue. Okay, next area, I talk about how to create knowledge. So I'm a solution manager, and I'm going to log in. And that I want to share with you. First of all, in the Knowledge Manager, we have this tile format, which really becomes helpful. Notice these are hypertext links. So I'm going to go straight to my drafts, which Knowledge Manager, that's the hat I'm wearing right now. I'm a Knowledge Manager, so I'm probably working in my drafts if I'm a Knowledge Manager. Or maybe I want to see my recently modified or recently pushed piece of content. Or maybe I want to see all video content or all decision tree. And that's the key. In Solution Manager, you're just creating a checkpoint in that we call right path. You can create video solutions, create decision trees, so apps and service requests and articles, so all those types of solutions. But a way using this full format, this tab type, where I can click on these hypertext links and go to the most important thing, like attention required. This is an A solution. Let's fix those right now. On the left-hand side, I have some quick solutions. I can search. I can create a solution, change a category, do some multiple article changes at the same time. And then down below here, really what we call our author score, focusing on gamification as an author. We really want to drive the right behavior for authors. This goes back to that KCS, that knowledge-centered support methodology that writers is really keen to share and utilize so that we're improving content as best we can. And when we do, making that we indicate if it's of good quality and effective for its audience. So we're using an author score. And here's how it works. Were viewed one time this week. Now, usually it's a lot higher than this, but solutions were viewed one time this week. And one time it was helpful. Now, in end of this week, I'll have 10 solutions reviewed, and only 2 of them are helpful. And I really want this one-on-one ratio. Whatever this number is here that's viewed, I want every one of my solutions to be helpful. That's how gamification can drive the right behavior, making sure that everybody, when they give feedback, they say the solutions that they looked at that I authored are very good quality and effective for their needs. Solutions in its entirety. Look, I have about 84,000 solutions. I have my solutions listed here. I have all of the solutions for the teams listed here. And I can simply create solutions by, going to the pull-down menu for a solution, decision tree, or document, or I can just click on the plus sign. Today, I'm going to create a solution of how to create a pivot, I'll say Excel, and that I'm also going to use that for my keyword, although you may put different keywords in here. But here is the real strength. Templates. If on the board, we're going to provide you with 5 to 6 templates automatically, like how to, but you can create as many templates as you want. So this is when it gets really beneficial. And also, part of the KCS methodology, where using templates for authors help drive the right behavior, what they fill in. And notice this, I'm a how-to template right now, but look when I change to error solution, error cause solution, or I change to a problem solution. It's only a cause solution. So again, I can have as many templates as I want, but remember, when we talk about knowledge-centered support, using that as part of our ability to build templates, so drive the right behavior for the authors to build content for their audiences. I'm going to come in here, and this is the other benefit here. You don't have to be a developer or know HTML coding. We've put it in a nice graphical user interface, and let's say we're doing a step process. I'll go step 1, step 2, step 3, and I'll put those checkpoints in that you saw in that solution when we were searching. Here's the checkpoints, step 1, step 2, step 3. I can also add a text input, a checkbox, a form, form. Add, a table, and look, just like if you were in Word, able to scroll, and I can add some, we call format tools like, headers or attention getters like note, don't forget to do this, and then of course I can import. I can either insert a video, I can add a file, I can link solutions together. But today, for example, let's just put a picture, a graphic in here. And typically, if you're creating content or authoring, that can sometimes be a challenge. I'll click on Browse, and of course I'm going to go, to our site where we have some good information. Click on Insert. Oh, and it put it in the wrong place. Oh my gosh. This is going to be difficult. I'm going to have to delete this and import it again. No, I'm just going to simply move it. And that's when you're really seeing the difference of programs. I'm even resizing it right here. And because it kind of went in the wrong spot, I'm just going to backspace. So look how I can just maneuver things around, even though, usually for HTML or, all these good graphical tools, you really need to learn a language to do it. Come up to the right-hand side and talk about workflow, because, for instance, I want to be able to publish this. So I'm a knowledge manager. I'm going to select on Publish. Who do I want to see the solution? We call it collection. But today, I want self-service to be able to see the solution. And you know what? Should be able to see the solution too. I'm going to click on the plus sign and I'm going to say, support agent. So right now, based on a collection that I've selected, some users can see the solution as well as support agents. Refresh date. Hey, I want to check this out in about 6 months. An email to come log in, make sure that this is still fresh. And then what category do I put this in? I'm going to specify customer service, and then frequently asked question, because I hear this one a lot, and then I'm going to click on select. And that just means that, if you're an agent or an end user and you do searching, you're going to go to customer service first, then you're going to select frequently asked question, and then you're going to see this solution. Some attributes. A lot of people call these tags or meta tags. And for instance, maybe I select that it's based on a region, that this particular solution is really for a particular region. And so if I'm looking for solutions in the Northeast region, which will include, Pennsylvania, which will include, Maryland, would include New Jersey, then again, I'm going to filter to find this solution as a meta tag, but we're going to call it an attribute. And now this solution is associated to the Northeast region. And something similar, I would have probably done that as soon as I typed the title, but really give me the ability to ensure that I'm not duplicating efforts. And look, here's one right here, so I would really just come in and update this one. Spell check or visibility, tools that enable me to make sure that I've selected the right groups. But most importantly, the ability to preview this solution. I mean, how great is it before I publish the solution to come down here to self-service and say, hey, this is what it looks like. Great, this is what my end users are going to see before I even publish. Hey, like what an agent would see. I'm going to come back down here to support agent, and I'm going to select desktop again, and now this is what the agent view is going to see. So again, not just being able to design a solution, see what the solution looks like before it's published, as well as creating solutions with some recording devices, using your webcam or using a recording for the screen, enabling us to then take those recordings and add them to solutions. So video support as well within Solution Manager. Those are really great and helpful, but a lot of them are in use. And the way that we really figure out how well we're doing is through this reporting. And so it's really important to be able to monitor the effectiveness, to manage the adoption, to really pay attention to what's happening. So we have the tools as an agent. We have the tools as a self-service user. And now, of course, we've got the tools to create content. content and improve really rich articles and all. But we have now the tool to measure and monitor that. And that's why we're in reporting. Be able to see the benefit of what's happening or look for areas that we can still continue to improve. Now, we have two traditional ways that the reporting can help you out. And of course, the first one is my favorite way. I actually was a support director myself, and I love being able to come in here and take a look at a dashboard, know exactly what I need to know within a couple of minutes, just by taking a look at some information. We've taken the dashboard to a second level where there's even dashboards by the specific audience type. So for instance, the first dashboard here, the executive dashboard, really geared towards information like the utilization of the knowledge, and of how we're using, content. For instance, this is part of the KCS methodology again, where, they really focus on UFA, which is use knowledge, flag knowledge, fix any knowledge that's been flagged, and of course add new content. And as you see, we're using a lot. We're not adding very much. So an indicator for an executive to figure out what's going on there, because we want to add and fix just as much as we use. What channel are you using in the last 30 days? Well, we've been using the web and social media. I don't see much being used on mobile, but most importantly, if I'm an executive, what's effective? You can clearly see only the web is effective. And if I'm an executive, that's a problem. I want all channels to be effective. So again, thinking from the executive level, and now maybe a customer dashboard, which is really geared towards service. We talk about that knowledge, how fast we're resolving it. We talk about, search effectiveness, and we really geared towards search effectiveness in this dashboard, to have these search and views very similar together. So this is what we want. This is, to me, everybody in self-service, users, they're finding what they're looking for. However, here, look at the disparate difference here, that, the searches are much lower than views. In this situation, they're not finding what they're looking for. So again, we need to help out our self-service users. And down below here, which solutions in self-service have deemed to be helpful, as well as what session count, how many people are actually getting in, what's our adoption looking like. Dashboard. This is geared towards agents, really focused on, for instance, the most active agents in the last 30 days, and you see there a couple of different agents, or, what by title has been used on number of actions in the last 30 days. This is giving us by a title. But again, just like self-service, we want to know if the agents are finding what they're looking for. And the same thing here, they're doing real good here today, but again, right here, they're not doing so good. They're not finding what they're looking for. And then the knowledge dashboard happens to be my favorite just because we're talking about knowledge. And you see, I typically like to be around 75% where we're creating new knowledge or fixing. That indicator goes right back to the problem that we have on the executive dashboard, where it says, we're really only using knowledge. We're not flagging or fixing. So look at the knowledge dashboard. It absolutely tells me that same thing. We should be around 70%, and we're really low. So that tells me our authors, we need to work with them. And notice the effectiveness, the author effectiveness. So the good thing is the effectiveness on the content is going good for authors, but I do still see as a draft and not being converted to a published state. So being able to pay attention from that standpoint. Now, reports too. The best thing about the portal reports is really talking about anything related to user or all details or by group or option. One I like is content effectiveness, and it really geared towards being able to see how effective content is. But even before putting in a filter, notice that it puts in the top 25 search phrases. All the reports have content that's valuable to you, but specifying the dates that you're looking for can help. Top 25 successful terms. But how beneficial is this at the bottom here, where it's the top 25 unsuccessful terms? Because if I fix these, then everybody's going to really find, what they're looking for. I'm the top here. I'm going to change the filter here. Maybe I'm looking for this from now, or maybe I'm looking for it, earlier than now. As I do that, notice that the filter, will change based on that, and of course, the information right below the filter associated to the filter is listed as well. So very powerful, but I can also take this information, make it into a PDF, a CSV, HTML, or a text file. Should I try to really get this information and build it with another report that I have from a different system. So some ways that you can get that information out of the system. I have as well, look, there's aging status, there's solution history, not just in the dashboards, but being able to see it right here as a report. I can use a report builder if I'm a SQL expert. I may put in just a SQL script here. Intelligent Knowledge Builder, and this is the ultimate when we talk about automation, because the Knowledge Builder, as you're going to see here, is always looking for things that are not just working out well, what we call gaps in knowledge. We had spoken about this earlier, where I shared a gap in knowledge is when an article is not helpful. When people say, hey, no, this was not helpful, they have a choice to say yes or no. And when I'd like to know it's not helpful, it shows up in here in this red. Matter of fact, in this procurement process, we searched it 24 times and only found it in the for 10 times successfully. Listen, that's a problem. We want to, if we search for it, we want to find it all 4 times that are listed here. You see, this is red, so it's a problem, a gap in knowledge. This is green. This we searched for it 32 times and we found it successfully. That's 53%. I typically like to be around 70, but at least you'll identify the gaps immediately. And when you do, you don't just go to a different report or a different area. I can simply select on it right here and say, well, how did this become a problem? When they were searching on it, what exactly did they do? And I can even take a look at all the searches and how they came. Oh, they were doing for that information for the GE system, and I get it now. Okay, perfect. I'm going to help this search out. Now it's a problem. I'm going to come up to this word cluster, and I'm going to say, hey, searching for the procurement process. It's a brand new process, and I saw all the searches from everybody. I really want to help everybody search on this. And if they search procurement process in the future, I want to indicate that it's a new process, and now I added a keyword called new procurement process, so it's going to help everybody find what they're looking for. Once I click on the next button, now it's telling me all solutions that will be impacted by the addition of this keyword. So what I was able to do, and I'm going to close this real quick, I was able to find gaps in knowledge indicated by all these reds. I was able to drill in on how it occurred and then make changes to the system so that this one will no longer be a problem in the future. When people search on this solution in the future, I've added some keywords that are going to assist them in this search. And that's how the Knowledge Builder can be very helpful in finding gaps in knowledge and helping improve the search from anyone searching as an agent or in self-service. Any questions?